Have you ever had a gut feeling that someone wasn't telling you the whole truth, but you couldn't prove it? They smiled. They agreed, but something didn't match. Their tone was off. Their timing was strange. You felt it, but couldn't explain it. That's not paranoia. That's your instinct catching the glitch in their performance. We've been trained to listen to people's words, but the real message is always in what they're not saying. The silence, the pause, the too much eye contact, the laugh that's half a second late. That's where the truth leaks out. Niccolò Machiavelli, the master of manipulation and political reading, knew this centuries ago. He didn't need to hear a confession. He watched behavior. He analyzed power. He paid attention to what people withheld, not what they gave. And here's what he learned. The more someone tries to look innocent, the more they're hiding. The human brain isn't wired to lie smoothly. A lie always creates tension between two realities. What I want you to believe, and what I know is true. That tension leaks through microexpressions, mismatched gestures, odd pacing. And it's not just about catching a liar. It's about understanding the psychology of concealment. Most people think lying is verbal, but the truth is, lies live in the body. Someone says, "I'm fine," but their jaw clenches. They nod yes, but their arms are crossed, legs angled away, eyes blinking too fast. These are not random. They're leaks, tiny failures in the emotional performance. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand." He didn't mean looks. He meant behavioral tells. He watched how people moved, not what they said, because words can lie. But behavior stutters when the truth is heavy. There's a skill that manipulators, interrogators, seducers, and rulers have always used. It's called cold reading. Reading a person without asking anything. No questions, no prodding, no pushing. You observe, you decode, you extract truth through friction between appearance and reality. Machiavelli didn't call it cold reading, but he mastered it. He knew that power isn't about controlling people. It's about reading their fears, their weak spots, their hidden motives, before they know you've seen them. Here's what cold reading looks like in action. A person says they're confident, but you notice they fidget when authority walks in. They say they've moved on, but their eyes freeze when a certain name is mentioned. They crack a joke, but their laugh feels hollow, just a little too fast, too loud. Cold readers don't look for words. They look for contradictions, between tone and content, between posture and intent, between what's said and what leaks. This is where real power lives, not in guessing people's secrets, but in making them reveal themselves without realizing it. Because here's the psychological truth. People reveal more when they try to hide than when they try to confess. Why? Because hiding takes energy, and the more someone tries to manage how they're perceived, the more mistakes they make. Cold reading is the art of watching for those mistakes. Subtle, small, but telling. And Machiavelli, being a man of strategy, not morality, used this art like a blade. He didn't confront. He watched. He let people talk. And while they tried to control the narrative, he watched for the cracks. We live in a world built on performance. People don't show who they are. They show what they want you to see. Your friend smiles too wide. Your boss laughs too loudly. Your partner says, "It's fine," but you can feel it's not. Every day you walk through a stage of carefully designed personas. And most terrifying of all, you do it too. We all do. Machiavelli didn't believe people were honest or evil. He believed people were strategic. He said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." That sentence is not about faking. It's about design. You choose your mask before others assign one to you. But here's the twist. Because everyone's wearing a mask, they assume you are too. And so, a game begins. A game of reading, doubting, watching, and hiding. That's why most people never really connect. They're not talking to each other. They're talking to each other's projections. This is where cold reading becomes lethal, not just to understand others, but to see through the illusion they work so hard to maintain. When you begin to see the mask, you stop reacting to the performance. You start watching the person behind it. And Machiavelli knew, the one who observes in silence always has the upper hand. You don't need to be a mind reader. You don't need a lie detector. You just need to start noticing what others ignore. Cold reading isn't about superpowers. It's about upgrading your attention. Here's how to start, step by step. 1. Shift your focus from what's said to how it's said. Most people only hear words, but real readers pay attention to delivery. Does the tone match the content? I'm not mad, but the voice is tight and forced. Does the body language contradict the sentence? A compliment, but the eyes roll a second too late. This mismatch is your first clue. It means something is being managed, and wherever there's management, there's something to hide. 2. Watch for patterns, not moments. Anyone can have a nervous laugh or a weird gesture once. But what happens consistently under pressure? Do they always get vague when asked personal questions? Do they always avoid eye contact when talking about money? Do they always shift blame when something goes wrong? Cold reading is not about the one slip. It's about the repeated leaks, those moments that form a pattern. Machiavelli didn't react to every action. He waited. He collected patterns. Then, when the moment came, he knew exactly what kind of person he was dealing with. 3. Create silence and watch what fills it. This is advanced. Most people fear silence. It makes them anxious. So what do? They over-explain. They confess. They fill the void with words they didn't mean to say. Hold eye contact. Say nothing. Just wait. You'd be shocked how quickly people will try to win you back with information. This is Machiavellian power at its peak. You say nothing, but you learn everything. 4. Never confront. Confirm. You're not trying to catch people like a cop. You're trying to understand their motives without triggering defense. Don't ask, why are you lying? Instead, watch how they react when you show doubt non-verbally. Do they flinch? Do they deflect? Do they double down? People reveal more in how they respond to discomfort than in how they respond to praise. 5. Detach from your ego. You can't read people clearly if you're busy trying to be liked, win arguments, or feel smart. Observation requires emotional detachment. Let people talk. Let them act. Let them reveal. You're not judging. You're just watching. Cold reading isn't about control. It's about clarity, and clarity is power. You don't need to manipulate people. You just need to stop being the one who's manipulated. That starts the moment you stop reacting and start noticing. Most people don't lie because they're evil. They lie because they're scared. Scared of judgment, scared of rejection, scared of losing power. So they perform. They smile when they want to scream. They agree when they want to rebel. They say, I love you, when they really mean, don't leave me. And you try to believe them. Because you want to. Because facing the truth feels cold, cynical, unfair. But Machiavelli would tell you, he who seeks to be loved more than feared will always be vulnerable. That doesn't mean you need to be cruel. It means you need to wake up. Because in a world of masks, the one who sees clearly survives. When you can read people without reacting, when you can spot fear hiding behind arrogance, when you can hear the silence behind their sweet words, you're no longer emotionally dependent on them. You don't chase validation. You don't fall for charm. You don't mistake performance for presence. That's freedom. Cold reading isn't about tricking others. It's about liberating yourself from their control. Because here's the hard truth. Most people don't want to be known. They want to be accepted, even if it means living behind a lie. But you're different now. You've seen the strings. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. This vision costs something. You lose some illusions. You lose some comfort. You lose some people. But what you gain is power and peace and sovereignty over your own mind. Now that you see the signs, the cracks in the smile, the hesitation behind the compliment, the fear behind the confidence, you're no longer the same. You're no longer the one who gets blindsided. You're not the one who gives endless benefit of the doubt. You don't explain away red flags. You see them for what they are. And that alone changes everything. Because the person who reads quietly, commands silently, influences without pushing, walks through chaos untouched. Machiavelli understood something brutal and beautiful. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. But in truth, when you read people well, you don't need either. You gain something deeper, respect, from others, and from yourself. This isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear, not naive, not bitter, just awake. So now I'll ask you, How long will you keep pretending you don't see what you already know? How long will you keep believing performances that fall apart the moment you stop reacting? It's time to sharpen your perception, to trust your gut, to read the room like a tactician, to walk like someone who knows. Because once you master the art of reading others, no one can hide from you ever again.